So I'm back at the project shop, Simeon Cattle's project shop. You would have seen this in the first video I did on the BMW E30, the BCG BMW E30, when he very kindly had a look around it. And I'll put the link for that below. Now we're back here today, and as usual, they've got some great cars. I can see a 6 Series, a shark nose there, a beautiful Fiat Coupe there. There is an amazing Sierra RS 500 Cosworth there. That's an awesome thing right there. These cars are all in for work, and look at this. This looks like it used to be in a Bond movie. Look at that black Mercedes there. That's incredible. 280 SE. And so inside here, you can see a camper van as well. There's a few other cars being worked on, including an Alfa Romeo, a couple of Alfa Romeos actually. And there already you can see the BMW is going up on the ramp there. So I guess I'm here to do what I should have really done about 2 months ago when I first got the car, just for peace of mind. The car fortunately has been very well looked after, and the big history file, and again we went through that in another video, proves it. But there was no definite record of the last service and the Cambelt change. And the Cambelt is always worrying, because if that breaks, then you could take out a couple of valves and then that's a big engine job. So should have done this 2 months ago. I'm here now getting it done with these guys, but they're also going to do a full service, an inspection 2 service, which covers a lot of stuff. So we're going to see how they get on, we're going to see what they do, and find out if there's anything else we need to worry about, or if it's all going to be straightforward today. So I'm here with James Westbrook of Project Shop, and you're going to be working on my car today. What are you going to be doing?
Well, today we're going to be changing the cam belt, and we're going to give it a good check over and a service, just to make sure it's all tickety-boo. And then obviously we'll check it out afterwards. And any other little gripes we'll let you know about. Yeah, it won't take too long to look over it, but the main job is to do the cam belt.
So you're also doing an inspection 2 service, and that's pretty comprehensive, isn't it?
Yeah, so while we've got the car in for the cam belt kit, we'll be having a look around the underside of it, looking at the bearings, checking the things in the engine bay while I'm working in that area. But then also, because we've got a lot of experience with BMWs and a little bit of experience with this model, it'll give us the chance of using our knowledge just to prevent things from happening in the future. A bit of preventative maintenance and inspection.
That's awesome. Okay, so it's reassuring to hear that you've worked on these cars before, so that's great.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, James, we won't get in your way, we'll let you get on with it, and we might check in from time to time to see how you're getting on.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. And if I find anything, I'll show you, then you can show it to the camera.
Hopefully not too bad news.
Yeah. So we've had a talk about the car off camera. I thought we'd just show you the things we found. One minor one, if you have a look up there, you can see that there's a bit of rot around the exhaust heat shield. The rubber is not quite connected to the metal anymore. It's perished, it could do with a change. It's had some work done on the back end previously. It's got the Polyflex bushes. They've done almost all of them apart from the rear arm bushes, which is still rubber. Don't know why, maybe they chose to do that. And then we were talking about some of the fuel pipes and brake pipes are quite crusty. If you have a look on this side, everything's sort of been undersealed over. It's sort of hidden the rust. But the MOT people will tend to advise it or fail it if they deem it's bad enough. Okay, so that's the main fuel pipe in and return to tank. And then you've got the 2 brake pipes. It's something worth noting for the future. But, you know, I would advise we change that as soon as possible, because I don't like the look of it. I want you to be safe. And then we were also talking about the gearbox. So there's been a slight leak from the ZF gearbox, and this mount has absorbed the rubber. The rubber's absorbed the oil and become softer than it should be. It's nothing really major to worry about, but when it gets bad, you do start hearing it starts to hit the tunnel. Start noticing it hit the tunnel. And also, in a tie rod. I suspect that's on the way out internally. So, easily changeable. It's just a bit of effort to get it right. So that's pretty much all we found at the moment. So I'll continue on with the service and the cam belt change now. one distributor. There you go. So you've got a tiny bit of fur actually on the contacts, but again, this looks quite new, so doesn't look too bad. It's a good sign. But wire. That did it. There's the rotor arm itself bolted in. Small Allen key. That's a lot more worn, that one. See just the tip of that? It's gone dark.
Oh, yeah.
I still can't actually feel the belt, unfortunately, so I have to keep going.
Hi, welcome to Project Shop. Today we've got the Brown Car Guy 325i in for an inspection 2 service, and also Cambelt and water pump. Always useful to do these sort of big services when you're brand new to a car, because you don't really know how somebody's looked after it in the past, so it gives you an element of safety and knowing that the car's going to perform and not do any damage to itself. So apart from that, we've got Zane working on a split screen camper van. That's a car we helped restore a couple of months ago, and actually it's now in for its running in bits and pieces, so all the little things that need tweaking to make it run reliably. Apart from that, we've got some pretty cool stuff in. There's a Ford Cosworth RS500 which has been in and had its bad boy big exhaust taken off it and put back to a standard OEM one. I think the customer was a bit bored of scaring children as he drove through the village. And we've also got an MGTF in lots and lots of bits, because we've done an underside detail on that, and we're replacing the rotten subframes, so that's quite a big job. Apart from that, there's some MOT bits coming in and out, an Alvis TD21 and also a Porsche 924. And then up in the restoration shop, we've got a Rolls-Royce Silver Wraith, which has just come out of storage and needs all the brakes looking at, and generally getting ready for the summer ahead. Most of the cars that we see through at this time of year have been laid up over the winter, and what they need is the fluids changed, make sure the brakes haven't bound on in that period, and just making sure that they're safe and ready to go. One of the big problems we see this year is the E10 fuel. So a lot of cars have laid up with tanks full of E10 fuel, and that's gone stale because there hasn't been any stabiliser put in the tank, and also on a lot of the older pipe work, rubber pipe work, that's gone brittle. So we've been doing a lot of replacing rubber pipes with proper E10 or E10, but actually the pipe's called R9 grade fuel line. That's the great thing about 80s and 90s classics. We've got an Alfa GTV in, as you say, an Audi UR Quattro, your car, the Cosworth outside, and they're all things that people can use daily and have an awful lot of fun out of.
Yeah, so if you have a look on the underside of it, and what you're looking for is you're actually looking for cracks. So this one is not cracked, but I would say that it's been running a while because it's sort of run the writing off it, if you see what I mean. Normally the belts have some writing on it, and that's on the back of the tensioner. The tensioner looks quite dirty. You can't really see it from that side. So when I take it out, you see it's got stuff stuck to it. That's not going to be helping the belt. That's going to be a bit of a bad thing. So what we've got to do now is very carefully time the engine up to the correct time. But you have to remember that every revolution of the camshaft, the crankshaft goes around twice. So you've got to get the marks in the right place. Lots of people have lots of different methods. YouTube will tell you, oh, cut the belt in half, put the other belt over it, and oh no, don't do that. But this is where we have the manual. The alignment here, this is the bottom pulley. It's telling you to use the cutout, which we can see, and then the top, it's telling you to use the dot on the, which is where the rotor arm was, against that bit of the case.
Alright.
Coming round,
Oh yeah.
And that should be lined up with, because it's a BMW, it's got a good timing mark. This is the, is that line scored into there? I believe that's the one. Because I keep coming round, it's somewhere there. We'll have a look at the bottom. You see the bottom one's lined up now and the top one's lined up. You got that mark there and that mark there. And it is that simple, that's to get it in the right position. So we can have a look at the belt now we've got it off. Let's have a look. It's actually relatively new. It's got a bit of wear on it. But then you don't want to take a chance on it, so.
Did you say a couple of years or?
Yeah, probably 2-3 years. No sign of cracking at all. I mean, I've taken some off and there are, you can see a split all along the hairline, cracks all along there.
Yeah.
I've had one split on myself on my girlfriend's car. Because she said, oh, I've changed the cam belt. 60,000 miles later. Bent all the valves, cost a lot of money to repair. So I'll sort of check the parts. Got a good part number on it there. Probably a genuine BMW one. This is a Gates kit. Gates kits are quite good, really. They do a lot of different ones. Same part number. Same whole alignment. Same diameter. And this is what I was talking about on the pulley itself. You see it's got... It's like a melted.
Yeah.
Clean it up. See how much play's in it. It's got a bit of play in it compared to the other one. That's got a little bit of play in it, but this has got more.
Right,
I don't know if you can see that on the camera. And that one, it's a lot less. It's also always worth changing the tension when you do it. But now we just check that the belt's correct. So I've had it before. To really pull them to find out how stretched it is. It is ever so slightly stretched.
The old one?
The old one, yeah. But ever so slightly. And I remember when I took it off, the Countach belt, had its label that way. Just check on this one, see if there's an indication of direction on it. No indication of direction on it. So we just go for it the same way with the lettering. There's a little bit of play in the water pump, but it's nothing major. That grating noise is I've taken the pulley off. Yeah, so we're on the rebuild now. We've put the new belt on, we've tensioned it, we've checked it's in time. Now we're just refitting the belt guards and covers, which is sometimes a little bit fiddly. But as you can see up there, if you can, you've got your new belt on. These are the guards we need to put back in place. And then basically rebuild and put all the other belts back on.
Right then, James, so we've tried to sort of shoehorn a day and a half's work into a day. What have you got up to?
Well, to start off, we gave it a good check over, underneath, on top, making sure everything's fine. And then we managed to do the Cambelt and a basic service. So we did the plugs, the oil filter, the oil, fresh coolant, because I had the radiator out anyway. And then we've written a list of the stuff that, you know, future possible jobs for him to do later on.
And what might those include?
So we've got a few bits of the fuel pipes and the brake pipes underneath the car. Yeah, it's commonplace for it. We've got an earth cable on the engine that's just lost its sheath. And we've also got the ABS sensors and the brake lining sensors on each side. They're actually starting to rub on the bodywork because they've also lost their plastic grommets. Yeah. So it's perished rubber and steel pipes. It's changeable stuff. The rest of the car, she's a solid girl. You know, good for many miles to come.
Okay, that's brilliant. Well, we'll hand her back to Shaz and hope that he enjoys many miles in it.
Yeah, have some fun with it.
Yep.
Oh boy, so it was such a relief to finally get that cam belt change done. To be fair, when we took out the cam belt, as you saw, it didn't look too bad. So maybe it was only installed 2 years ago, but there was no evidence. I couldn't find any receipt or any absolute documented evidence that it had been done. And you just don't want to lose a cam belt on a car like this. Historically, I have had that happen to me, and you know, that sort of thing could mean an engine rebuild. So you just don't want to do that. The interesting thing about the cam belts, if you look down here, was just how tricky it was to get to. All of this plastic trim had to come off, the radiator had to come out, the fan itself had to come off, all these hoses, all this trim here, to then get to the cam belt, which is buried deep inside of there. All the other belts also had to come off in order to do that. So when they say it's a big job, they're not job. When next time your mechanic tells you that's a big job and it's expensive, I've been there, I've seen it done step by step. It is a big job, and you've seen it as well on this video. Aside from that, of course, we've had everything refreshed. The whole full service has been done, so all the coolants, all the fluids, the oil has been changed. The one good thing about the oil I found was that, I mean, look at that. It's still dark, but it's so much cleaner than it was before. And the thing about this car is that I have a very strong suspicion that it has been stood around for a long time. So even most recently, before I bought it, I reckon it was stood around for about 6 months or something. So all of that should really have been refreshed. And I gotta say that driving it back from there yesterday, on a day like this with the sunroof open, 80s music on the stereo, the engine just was bliss. It just felt eager, it felt energetic, it just felt refreshed. Nothing like getting a car, get a good service. Thanks so much to all the guys over at Project Shop for doing a terrific job. I'll probably be back there soon. Stay tuned for more.
Big shout out and thanks to Jay Williams over at Air Technic, who are top tier sponsors of Brown Car Guy. Check them out at Air Technic Co UK for exhausts, brakes, suspension and body kits. Plus our other major sponsor, Nayagen Solutions. Much appreciation also to Tier 4 sponsors, Muhammad Ali Humaid, Tom Conway Gordon and Reza Adil. And of course all these other guys who supporting on Patreon. Brown Car Guy is eternally grateful. Hey, think about joining them over at patreon.com Brown Car Guy. If you can't, don't worry. Just make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel and website. Plus follow on social media by searching for Brown Car Guy.